Imagine cracking open your eggshell after weeks of development, only to realize you've just traded one claustrophobic prison for another. You're buried in a nest that's half mud, half poop. Thanks, Mom. And the first thing you do is face-plant into the muck. As you wiggle free, drenched in primordial goo, you look around and immediately wish you hadn't. Your siblings are hatching too, dozens of them. And every single one looks like they might eat you just to buy themselves an extra 5 minutes of life. There's no "Welcome to the world" banner, no parental guidance. Your mom and dad? Long gone. They don't even know which clutch of eggs is theirs. Congratulations, you're an orphan. And it's day one. The first rule of Brontosaurus life is simple. Move. Fast. Because the nest isn't just a birthplace, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet for anything with teeth. Raptors, early crocodilians, even insects the size of your head. They're all here, and you're the main course. You're barely the size of a turkey, and right now your legs are so wobbly that you're about as mobile as a jello mold in an earthquake. Your siblings scatter in all directions, hoping to avoid being the first casualty. You trip over a rock, fall flat on your face, and realize the universe has already stacked the odds against you. With predators closing in, you do the only thing your instincts tell you. Wiggle into the nearest patch of underbrush and pray to whatever prehistoric deity is listening. Even if you make it out of the nest, the world outside isn't exactly a welcoming utopia. You're surrounded by ankle-high foliage that offers almost no cover, and every sound makes you jump. Is that a breeze rustling the leaves? Nope. It's a hungry theropod checking its menu options. Your only chance at survival is to stay perfectly still, hoping they mistake you for a rock, or possibly a very ugly bush. Spoiler alert, they usually don't. Life as a baby Brontosaurus is basically a non-stop game of hide-and-seek, except if you lose, you get eaten. Welcome to your first day in the Jurassic, where everything, even your siblings, is out to kill you. If you've made it past day one, congratulations. You're now in the awkward toddler phase of being a Brontosaurus. And by awkward, I mean extremely awkward. Your body grows faster than your brain can keep up, turning you into a clumsy, overgrown hatchling. Picture a gangly giraffe that somehow learned to moonwalk on stilts. You trip over roots, tumble down slopes, and face-plant into ponds so often, it's almost a miracle predators don't just die of second-hand embarrassment. Speaking of predators, they're everywhere. Carnivorous dinosaurs like Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus are stalking the same forests where you're desperately trying to eat enough plants to stay alive. Speaking of predators, they're everywhere. Carnivorous dinosaurs like Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus are stalking the same forests where you're desperately trying to eat enough plants to stay alive. But the predators aren't the only problem. Let's talk about your diet. As a baby, you eat anything green you can find. Ferns, cycads, horsetails. But guess what? Most of the tasty plants are way up high, out of reach. The adult Brontosaurus crew hogs the treetops like it's their personal salad bar, and you're left foraging in the underbrush. So not only are you starving half the time, but you also have to compete with every other herbivore the size of a Great Dane for scraps. And don't think for a second that the adults are going to help you. Sure, they're massive and could stomp a predator into paste if they wanted to, but they don't. You're on your own, baby. That's the unspoken rule of Brontosaurus society. If you're small, you're on the menu. To make matters worse, nature itself seems determined to knock you out. Sudden storms flood your grazing grounds, sending you scrambling for higher ground. Landslides bury entire patches of food. And let's not forget droughts, which turn your lush forest into a crunchy wasteland where every bite feels like eating a bowl of dirt-flavored cereal. Your only saving grace is your incredible growth rate. As you gorge yourself on ferns and leaves, your body starts to bulk up. But this comes with its own set of problems. Your energy needs skyrocket, and now you have to spend all day eating just to avoid starving. Forget fun or exploration. Your life is an endless cycle of chewing and running away. By the time you're the size of a horse, you're finally big enough that some predators might think twice before attacking you. But don't get cocky. A hungry Allosaurus doesn't care how mature you look. it'll still try to make you its next meal. Your best defense? Run. Or more accurately, waddle. Sure, you're getting stronger, but speed is not exactly your forte. Most of the time, your strategy is to stay near a herd of larger brontosauruses and hope the predators go after someone else. Survival as a young brontosaurus isn't about thriving. It's about not being the slowest, smallest, or most unlucky member of the group. If you can make it to your teenage years, you'll finally start to resemble the giant tree-chomping behemoth you were born to become. But for now, you're just a walking appetizer in a world of hungry mouths. Finally, after decades of non-stop eating and avoiding death, you've made it. The prime of your life.
Wow.
You're no longer a bite-sized morsel or a gangly teenager. You're now a 30-ton titan of the Jurassic. With your long neck, whip-like tail, and sheer bulk, you're a certified giant. You'd think life would be easier now, right? Wrong. Being enormous doesn't mean you've made it to the top of the food chain. It just means your problems have gotten bigger. Let's start with food. Sure, you can now reach those luscious treetops, chomping on leaves and branches like it's your own private buffet. But here's the catch. Everyone else is doing the same thing. Other brontosauruses, diplodocuses, and whatever other long-necked freeloaders live nearby are crowding in on your territory, turning your meals into a Jurassic version of an awkward family picnic. To make matters worse, your size means you need to eat roughly a ton of plants a day just to keep functioning. That's like eating a whole tree every 24 hours. Wahingguan tainguyen kan kiet. Sukan tran tronen hok liet. Territorial disputes break out, and what starts as an angry stare-down often ends in a full-blown neck-wrestling match. Picture two skyscrapers swaying and colliding in slow motion, each trying to outmuscle the other. These battles are less majestic dinosaur duel and more uncoordinated sumo match. These battles are less majestic dinosaur duel and more uncoordinated sumo match. And even if you win, you're left exhausted, bruised, and wondering if that patch of leaves was really worth it. But the real drama comes during mating season. If you thought finding food was competitive, try impressing a mate. Male brontosauruses parade around, showing off their massive tails and bellowing deep calls that resonate across the plains. It's basically a prehistoric version of a muscle car show, except instead of exhaust fumes, it's clouds of dust kicked up by stomping feet. When a female finally takes notice, things escalate. You square off against other males in the ultimate test of dominance, tail-whipping duels. These aren't friendly little slaps. These are bone-cracking, earth-shaking swings of pure force. A direct hit could shatter a rib, and the loser slinks away to nurse their wounds while the victor gets the girl, or at least the chance to woo her with his superior tail-whipping prowess. Of course, life isn't just about love and territory. Predators are still a constant threat, even to a fully grown brontosaurus. A pack of allosaurs or keratosaurs isn't going to back down just because you're big. They've learned to work together, circling you like wolves around a bison, looking for any sign of weakness. Your best defense? That tail. It's not just for flirting. It's a weapon capable of snapping bones and scattering attackers. But using it takes energy. And if you're caught off guard or surrounded, even your size won't save you. Despite all this, your prime years aren't just about surviving. They're about asserting yourself as a true giant of the Jurassic. Whether it's defending your patch of forest, showing off in mating season, or fending off predators, you've learned to navigate the chaotic world around you. But don't get too comfortable. The cracks are starting to show, literally. Your joints ache, your tail's losing its snap, and the challenges of your youth are about to pale in comparison to what comes next. To make matters worse, droughts and shifting climates have shrunk your habitat, forcing you to travel farther just to find food. Your body can barely keep up, and with every mile you shuffle, the odds of falling behind the herd grow. And falling behind? It's a death sentence. Your body will eventually return to the earth, feeding the plants you once devoured.